Hi everyone, my name is Janelle and I'm a peer member on the Scrappineers blog team. I'm going to talk to you guys today a little bit about photo filters and using color overlays, and not only using photo filters for just your photos but also for your entire finished layouts. You can get some kind of fun changes or alter the coloring a little bit if a kit is really bright and you want to tone it down a little bit. Photo filters can actually be a really easy way to do that. So if you've used photo filters, great. You may not learn a whole lot of new things today, but if you haven't, this is a really easy way to alter your photos to give them a more artistic effect, and it doesn't take hardly any time at all. So let's go ahead and get started. Here I have this photo of my daughter, and I just want to see. I want to see what we can do with some of these photo filters. So we're going to go over here to our layers panel, and we're going to click this black and white half circle adjustment layer is what we want. So I'm going to click on that and then come up here to photo filter. Now it brings up automatically, it applies a warming filter, which is the top one here. I'm going to click and select the next one, and when I do that I can actually use my arrow keys to go through them as opposed to clicking and then selecting the next one and hitting enter to see the change. This way I can see each change really quickly as I'm going through it, and you won't see a huge difference from warming filter to warming filter, but there you can see we jumped from a warming filter to a cooling filter, so it has more of a blue hue now as opposed to the warm oranges. And those are pretty, but they're not really the effect that I want. Now this I think looks really pretty here on the red. It almost feels like it's more of a sunset. And these pictures were taken just about before sunset, so I kind of like the effect that they're offering there. I think that's really pretty. We'll keep going here so you can just kind of see what they have. Orange, yellow, green. She looks ill there. That's definitely not what I want. Cyan, blue, violet, magenta, and then sepia. A deep red. That's a little too much red. I think I like the red better than that. Deep blue. Yeah. So you can see there are some fun filters that you can play with, and it all depends too on the coloring of your photo. Mine has a lot of light and white in it. I really think this red is pretty. It kind of gives it that sunsetty look. You can also change the density of the color, so you can bring in more of the red. The whole thing is red, but I liked it right where it was at 25. It gives it just enough to have that sunset feel, but it doesn't overpower the original colors of the photo. And you want to make sure that preserve luminosity is checked, otherwise you're going to start to lose the light. I'll give you an example here. If we uncheck this and then turn the density up, you can see I've lost all of my light, which I don't want. I want to keep that. So I'm going to take that back to 25, and even when I check and uncheck that, you can absolutely see that it's keeping the original light, which is nice. You don't want it to be all red. You want it to keep that brightness that it had before. So I think that's a fun and easy way to give a little bit of an artistic touch to your photos. It'll depend a lot too, like I said, on the kit that you would want to use, but that's just a simple, easy way to make a change to your photo. I wanted to show you a black and white one as well, just because I think sometimes it can be fun to add a little bit of color to a black and white. So I'm going to go ahead and if your adjustments panel is open, there's the photo filter right here. It has the camera. You can click that, or again from your layers panel you can go down to adjustment and then photo filter, but I've already got mine up, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my layers panel and double click on that so that I can choose my filter for this picture as well. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, make it, there we go. So we've got our warming filters, then our cooling filters, which for me that's a little too blue. I don't know that I would want that. Again, I really like the way that that red is coming out. Even this orange isn't bad. The yellow actually I kind of like too. Green not so much. I'm not a fan of the cooler colors on this picture. I'm actually liking the warm ones better. But see, it's just kind of fun to look and see. I really like that red one again, but even here I think the orange is kind of pretty too. And the nice thing about these filters is that they come with a mask. So if you just want a particular portion of your photo to have the filter applied to it, you can do that as well. And I know we've done some masking prior to now, so I'm not going to go really deep into this, but if I selected the mask, well, I didn't want to double click on that, sorry. If I select the mask here and then go to my brushes, so you can hit B for brush, and then I would probably do a soft brush. And then if you're painting on a mask, you want to remember always black conceals and white reveals. So if I wanted her to be the original color of the photo, which in this case was black and white, I would hide the photo filter, which I can do by just painting on it in black with the brush. You can see it's just taking some of the orange out of it. Doesn't make a huge difference on a black and white photo, but applying the filter didn't make a huge difference on this photo either. I don't want to spend a ton of time here because this is just something that you would play with on your own, but now if I turn it off and on, you can see the difference there. So it just kind of helps her pop out. There's one other thing that I wanted to show you, and again, these are just simple. You may already know what you're doing here, but if you don't, then great. Hopefully you've learned something that you can at least go in and explore and play with. So I like this picture. I think it's really sweet, but it's kind of dark for me. And at the time I liked it, but now I think it's too dark. So what I want to do this time, I don't want to do a photo filter here. I want to try and lighten it up a little bit, give it kind of more of a milky feel. I feel like that's kind of a fad right now. So I want to show you how I would recreate it. So again, I went down and clicked on the adjustment layers, and then I'm going to click solid color this time. And you'll see it's black was my default color over here, so now I have a solid black, which I don't want. I'm going to do kind of not a pure white, but almost white, and say okay. And then I'm going to come over here to my blending modes. Right now you can see that it's set to normal. I'm going to change this to soft light. And you can see it definitely has a milky feel to it now. Let me turn this off and on. But that's a little more than I want. So I'm going to come over here to the fill and I'm going to tone it down a little bit. Now I like the background here. I think that's about where I want it, but now I don't really like how she is faded out there. You can see she's more milky than I want. I want her to stand out in this picture as opposed to just fade into the rest of it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on my mask again, and then I want to hide the milky layer where she is in the photo so that the photo will show through under the mask there. So I've got my brush tool selected, and remember, black, when you paint black on a mask, it hides, and when you paint white, it reveals. So I'm going to paint black on my milky mask, so it's going to hide the milk, the milky look, and show underneath here. And it helps if your brush is at the opacity that you want it to. I had it set at 55. I'm gonna take it up to 80 here. There we go, and she's starting to come through a little better. And I just have a soft round brush here. And again, I'm not going to be perfect because this is something that you can do and you can spend the time with on your own. I just wanted to show a little bit here. Okay, and if I turn this off, you can see she kind of pops a little more now that she doesn't have that milky film to her. I like that. I think that's sweet, and I would actually too, if you click on this layer here, I might come over here and grab the probably the dodge tool so that I can lighten up those shadows. Dodge the shadows, and soften her even a little bit more, just kind of to help her pop. You know, this photo is pretty old, and I just wanted to change it just a little bit so that I could use it digitally. You can see if I zoom in here, I actually scanned this photo in so that I could put it in one of her books. But yeah, let's take a look at there's the before and the after. So it definitely lightened up my outer. I just gave it that little bit of a milky fill to it. And she still pops and looks really good. She's not, that layer doesn't overwhelm her. So just a simple color overlay. And you know what, let's try this too. I'll show you the difference here. I can come and disable this layer mask so you can see what would happen to her if I just put the white color overlay on top of it. But I do like that we took her and made her come through the mask. We got rid of the mask on top of her. I think that helps and definitely adds to the effects. So just something really simple. Hopefully you can play a little bit with it and see if that's something that interests you. And then I have one more thing that I wanted to show you. So this is a layout that I did using the Champions kit from this month, from May, and it's Candy Crush by Just Jamie. And so I'm going to, and this was also a template that Tiffany included in there as well. And now I'm going to select my top layer here, and again, go to Adjustments, and then Photo Filter. But before I do that, I want you to just kind of look at this, look at the colors in it. It's got a really kind of a bright blue and then the purple, and it may be too bright for some people. So I want to encourage you, even though this may not feel like the colors suit you, you can always find a way to change them, hopefully a little more to your liking. So let's do this photo filter again, and you can see I really even like it with the warming filter applied to the whole page as opposed to just the photo. So I'm just gonna buzz through these really quickly. So yeah, the cool doesn't really work because I feel like it's already a cool kit. Okay, and the red, I don't know why I'm so drawn to that red. I really like that filter. But yeah, so I mean, even if you started with colors that you didn't necessarily like, you can change your whole page to, yeah, see, even that, I don't know, just kind of fun. So if you weren't a huge fan of some of the colors in the kits that you buy, but you really like the theme or something, this is always a way for you to try and manipulate it a little bit so that it suits you better. I'm going to turn this off so you can see the original. See, it's more of a brighter blue, and then you turn it on, the photo filter on, and it just kind of tones it down a little bit. Just maybe you would like that better. So I encourage you to play with some kits that have colors in them that maybe are not up your alley. There is always something that you can do to continue to use it and change it, and I think this is a super simple way as opposed to going in and trying to change each layer individually. Just put a photo filter on top of it or even a color overlay. So I hope you learned something new, simple little tip, and good luck, and we'll see you next time.